what you're talking about sounds a lot like the movie that This Is Us guy just put out that flopped. That This Is We, whatever it was called.
Yeah, This Is We.
What was it? It's the one that had Oscar Isaacs in it.
Welcome to SinCast, presented by Cinemasins.
This episode of SinCast is brought to you by Mubi, a curated online cinema streaming exceptional films from around the globe. Each day, Mubi introduces a new gem and you have 1 month to watch it. From cult classics to acclaimed masterpieces, every film is hand-selected by experts. Try Mubi free for 30 days at mubi.com/cinemasins. That's mubi.com/cinemasins for your extended free trial. All right, everybody, welcome to the SinCast. This is Chris Atkinson from Cinemasins, joined as always by the voice of Cinemasins, Jeremy Scott.
Hi.
And from Music Video Sins, Barrett Scher.
I'm going to try it again. Griswold.
Griswold.
Griswold. I was told that I spectacularly failed to pronounce my German greeting.
It sounded like you did.
Well, and then we have now seen video of German children saying the German word for squirrel.
Yes.
And it has given me... Well, it's given me reason to never attempt German again in my life.
By the way, someone on Patreon, and I'm not going to call you out. I'm not mad at you. But somebody on Patreon put a comment and said, "Stop butchering Famke Janssen's name."
Uh-oh.
And I was like, okay, I'm saying what I've always heard, and I heard the first time. I heard the first time with the Deep Rising trailer that came out. Deep Rising. Remember Deep Rising?
Yes.
So
there's a great girl from Ipanema joke in that trailer.
Yeah, the dude who was in There Will Be Blood, who plays the fake brother, is that guy.
Oh yeah,
who does the girl from Ipanema joke. There's I remember the Deep Rising thing because I remember when she first came on the scene when we first started seeing her in Goldeneye and all that. I think everybody was calling her Famke.
Yeah, Famke
Janssen, whatever. And then that trailer came out, and I was like, "Oh, it's Famke. I like that better."
Yep.
But apparently, took issue with the last name, which is supposed to be Janssen, which is because she's Dutch and everything. And that totally makes sense, except the trailer. One thing, okay, so maybe the trailer's wrong, but then she's on Conan O'Brien in 1995, and he's like, yes, I looked into this.
Someone has Googled
Conan O'Brien in 1995, and he's like, so did I get that right when I introduced you? It's Famke Janssen? And she's like, yeah, everybody says Famke wrong. And they say, call me Famke, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, so it's Famke Janssen. And she doesn't correct him, doesn't say on it. Then she's on Ellen on another one, and she's like, the same thing. So did I say that right? It's Famke. She goes, yes, Janssen. Uh-huh. Now, she could be polite. She could just be being polite.
I assume if she were in the Netherlands, they would probably call her Janssen.
Right. But I'm going to continue saying Famke Janssen, but I could occasionally throw in a Janssen. Why not?
Well, there's a... Okay, so I was asked recently to repronounce Lin-Manuel Miranda's name for a Sins video because I had said it a little too Americanized with Manuel.
Yes.
And I was complaining to my wife... Not that I do that regularly, but I was like, I'm American. Like, it's okay for me to pronounce Mexican words, Spanish words with an American. Like, I don't say burrito when I go to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Even though that's technically the correct pronunciation.
And you would be ostracized if you did.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You'd be going to the drive-thru. I'd like 5 burritos.
Yeah, can I have the nacho and tater tot burrito, please?
Yeah, like, come on.
Anyway, I think there needs to be some there was a hockey player who played for Nashville for years, and after he left the team, told somebody he just let us all pronounce his name wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
I forget if it was Arkhipov. It was one of those, might have even been Erat or Erat.
Yeah. I think it was him because
it was
we were
Martin or Martin, and it just kept going back and forth, and I think at some point just gave up.
Yeah, it's like Steve Buscemi. Like, I have that video where he was like, it's literally Buscemi. But if people call me Buscemi or Buscemi or whatever, it's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I mean, at some point you just give up.
Yeah.
Right? Well, and what is it? There was a big thing on Hard Knocks where it wasn't Terrell Pryor. It was, what was it that they were?
I didn't see it.
There's a thing on because the fourth.
Oh, it's supposed to be Terrell, right?
I don't remember if it's Terrell or not. It might not even be Terrell, but
yes, there is something like
there's
that.
something with his name,
like blew people's minds.
Yeah. And God, what is his fucking name?
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor.
Oh,
They
yeah,
were
it's
calling him Tyrod.
That's right.
They're calling him Tyrod. And the fourth string quarterback who had no chance of making the team was saying Tyrod. And they're like, what's going on with that? Why are you not calling him by his written? Like, he came to us and told us he's how he introduced himself. I'm Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
And everybody else just calls him Tyrod.
Yeah. Everybody has always called him Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah,
That's
and you
crazy.
get the same thing with Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Jeremy Scoot.
Yeah, exactly. Been called Scoot all my goddamn life.
But I mean, obviously, if there is like an absolute like way to say something, I want to say it the right way. But anyway, haven't been told otherwise other than that comment.
There you go.
Just wanted to take that to task.
All right.
But today we're gonna go through the winter preview. We're gonna go through some movies that are coming out December through February, and again, like always, this stuff is nebulous, and there could be some movement, and we'll actually be going over a couple of movies we've already talked about because they've been moved and everything like that. But so are we going to talk a little bit about November at all? Or
there's a couple that we didn't get into in the fall movie preview that there's one in particular that I'm super psyched about.
Well, yeah, The Favorite looks awesome.
It looks amazing, and I realize I saw this is Yorgos Lanthimos, who did The Lobster, and I fucking love The Lobster. I can understand not loving The Lobster because I could see that being a very divisive film in many ways. Like, there's many reasons not to like that movie, but I loved it. And the trailer for this, having Emma Stone in it, the cast in general in this is just fucking awesome.
I haven't seen the trailer. I don't know anything about it except that Taylor Swift's boyfriend is in it.
Really? Oh, what is his name? Henry Winklevoss?
Yeah.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
I don't know.
David?
But it's the story of, like, I guess there's a queen, Olivia Colman, who plays the one lady cop in Hot Fuzz.
Oh, okay.
Is a queen, and then like she's being tended to by Rachel Weisz, and then another girl comes in, Emma Stone, and starts trying to sort of usurp that role and everything. And so it's Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz, like, you know, having a big fight,
having delicious fun. It looks like too.
The way you said that makes me a little uncomfortable.
Oh no, it's they're popping already. Like,
it sounds like a better version of the other Boleyn girl.
Yeah, actually, it very much does. Joe Alwyn, by the way, is Taylor Swift's
Joe
wife.
Alwyn. I could have sworn his name was David. Apparently, they've been dating for like 2 years, and it's just like
and nobody knew.
Nobody. Not only did nobody know, but there were rumors apparently that she would sometimes travel in a fucking suitcase so that the paparazzi wouldn't know when she was moving.
Just like the Leprechaun.
and one of the fucking One Direction guys, Zayn, like, confirmed it the other day. He was like, she had to travel by suitcase for a while. Like, basically confirming this rumor that they sometimes put her in a trunk and carry her out to a van.
Wow.
And I just think, you know what? That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's 2018.
But yeah, there's a lot of like, I love these like little looks. The trailer is just put together really well. There's all these like looks, these side eyes that Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz are giving each other the whole time. And it looks like it might be kind of a sexy movie too.
Yeah, man. Oh, I'm so psyched. And I don't know when exactly it's going to come out in our neck of the woods because it's nowhere near the showtimes. I don't see any showtimes coming up soon, but hopefully soon. I love it. I love it already.
Yeah. And you know, remember how a couple summers ago was the little boys running through jungles and befriending animals and everything. This is a good year for like woman on woman violence. Or it's like
this is a good year for it.
We have like A Simple Favor that came out, and
yeah?
then we have this, and we have Mary Queen of Scots, which is one of our first December movies. But
did you ever see A Simple Favor?
I did not.
God, you're gonna love that movie.
Yeah, I'm sure I will.
Yeah,
I love me some Anna
You're
Kendrick.
gonna love.
Aren't they
that
doing
movie.
an all-female reboot of that Hugh Jackman robot fighting movie?
Oh, really?
Really?
No.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It'd be awesome if they did.
They're all like lady robots.
We're going to reboot everything.
They're like put a little bow on their hair and shit.
robot with a ball.
Yes.
It's a ladybot.
That's right.
Oh, God.
It's like, who cares? It's all made of like tons of machine and metal anyway. And then another thing on your November here, you have The Possession of Hannah Grace, which I've seen a trailer for, and it's assuring you that it's not like any other possession movie. That's what's so crazy about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's man, I kind of like the concept of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's about like a morgue worker that they bring in the body of a possessed girl that they killed during an exorcism, and of course the morgue worker is left alone with this body, and she's like, "Oh, I'll take care of it," and so the possessed girl comes back to life and all that stuff. But then it goes into the same beats that you've seen in every other fucking horror trailer. Maybe fine, but I bet you it's going to end up being formula. I feel like I've already seen this movie.
Yeah, anything The Possession or The Exorcism of insert female name here is the same. This is the same as The Exorcism of Emily Rose, right?
Yep.
I think it's even from one of the producers of Exorcism. Like it's like there's a movie.
There was something.
It's either that one. There's another horror movie. It's funny. Like usually it's from the producers of.
Yeah.
But this was one trailer I saw was from a producer of.
yeah, I saw it. This is the new. I guess this is the new title scheme, right? We're taking over the bad grandpa, bad moms, bad dads, all that. Now it's the something of a girl's name.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The incarceration of Melissa
Right.
McCarthy.
The life of David Gale.
Yeah, exactly. Life of David Gale. Exactly.
Well, we did have the miseducation of Cameron Pope.
Yep.
That was just a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a thing.
Yeah.
I bet you could
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Exactly. You could go down a rabbit hole. I'm telling you, man. You could number 23 this shit.
You could number 23
Get
this
that
shit.
Bernie Madoff syndrome going.
Yeah,
where you see it all over the place.
Yes. We start in December with Mary Queen of Scots, which I just mentioned a minute ago.
This trailer looks fucking gorgeous.
Yeah,
Is this
it
the
does.
one with Saoirse Ronan?
Yes.
Yeah, it does look good. I only watched this trailer for the prep for this, but I'm willing to watch anything she's in at this point. I keep seeing all these articles about this great acting talent, this rising, our hot young talent. Like she's been fucking fantastic in everything, all the way back since Hannah.
And Margot Robbie plays Elizabeth in this.
Oh,
She's all roughed up at times in this one too.
Yeah,
I don't even
absolutely.
think I recognized
But
her.
there's this big rivalry between the two because they're both considered like co-queens essentially.
They're both hot queens. They're vying for hottest queen.
right. Yeah, exactly. Correct.
They're both battling with Freddie Mercury.
Yep.
hottest queen.
Yes. You know,
And I don't mean that in a gay way,
A lot
just
of-
to make sure that
He was in a band called
He was in a
yeah,
band.
a lot of people didn't know that, but
Yes.
you know that's what happened. But yeah, there's a sort of a power struggle with the two, and it's sort of the beginning of England Scotland bad relations and shit like that.
Yeah, it looks really interesting, and that's a part of history that you'd think that we would know about, given Braveheart and Outlaw King. Have you seen Outlaw King yet?
Is that a Netflix joint?
Yeah.
I need to.
The
man.
Chris Pine.
Yeah, the Chris Pine.
Instead,
Have
I
you seen
watched
it?
Buster
Haven't seen it yet.
Scruggs 3 times.
Oh, yeah?
Have you seen it 3 times?
I have.
I've got to see that.
Is it good?
I love it, and I think you know where I land on most Cohen stuff. Is kind of hit or miss for me, but it's like all the best parts of No Country and Hudsucker and Oh Brother.
Yeah.
I hear the Tom Waits part is really good.
It's I've already done a ranking of my favorite order with Dicer on Twitter, but it's already changed since then. That's an excellent short. I love that.
Oh, I can't wait. I may do that this afternoon.
Anyway, yeah, that one, and there's another martial arts pick from with the guy from the 2 Raid movies.
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
Netflix film.
Eco UAs?
Yeah, and it's supposed to be outrageous.
Yeah.
So I gotta watch that as well. No.
This does look really good, though. That part of history looks really ripe for this kind of lush storytelling, you know?
Yeah, and exactly as Jeremy was alluding to, Saoirse Ronan looks amazing in that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Looks great. Then there's Vox Lux. Speaking of fucking amazing, Natalie Portman.
This is either going to be incredible or an incredible performance in a piece of crap.
Yes, I agree.
Because
it looks
she's
like that.
she's gone for something, and the trailer suggests that she's landed it. Whether or not the movie around her does, I have no fucking clue.
Yeah. Now I don't think this is not based on a real person, right?
No, it's inspired by several pop stars.
Yeah,
apparently.
some pop divas and
Yeah.
everything. And
Gaga Sia.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is directed by Brady Corbett, who
I think he's mainly an actor. Like he was in Funny Games and stuff like that.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah.
But I think this is his first big director movie.
Interesting.
Well, and despite the trailer, from what I've read, she's only in like half the movie. Like it's like
really?
Told in half when she's a child and half when she's an adult, and I think it cuts back and forth between the two. So it's kind of like before her rise to fame and after her fall and her attempt at like a second coming career or what have you.
Oh, I got you.
And
because she survived a school shooting, right? That was like her background.
Wow. I didn't pay enough attention to the trailer then.
Pretty sure that's how.
That I didn't. Well,
yes,
if
she survives a horrific school shooting
Okay.
in Staten Island. Yeah. But then, yeah, it probably focuses on that part of her life, and then the older
after
part.
she's Lady Gaga level famous.
Yeah, it looks very, very interesting to me, and if she can pull the weight of it, which I'm sure she can, I think I'm probably going to be into this movie.
Yeah, it's intriguing, and we keep asking for original ideas. That's this.
Yep. Then we have Mortal Engines, which is. It's got all the names, Peter Jackson, Philippa Boyens, all these people. Now, none of them directed this movie.
Right.
And it's somebody else. But I wish they would stop making these movies that
this looks apparently a beloved series of books.
Mm-hmm.
But I said on Twitter, and I think to you guys in person, it looks like one of those bad mobile game commercials.
Yeah.
Where they've like shot a live action redonkulous CGI version of what the 2D mobile game warfare will look. And then Kate Upton is in there at the end. Wasn't she in one of those mobile ads?
Was. She was
Schwarzenegger was too.
Yeah.
Well, he got it.
Yeah. It reminds me of like Golden Compass or one of these type of movies where they've gotten a hot book property, and then they're like, we're gonna go balls to the wall with the special effects in this. It's gonna be fucking awesome, and like everything in that trailer is empty to me.
Yeah.
There's like scenes in there, like just brief shots of people, and then it's like something blowing up, like all in this weird red and yellow kind of CGI explosion thing or whatever. And like, I was like, oh, I bet that was devastating.
Reminds me of Social Network when the Winklevi are in the president of Harvard's office, and one of them's like, "Sir, what you just said to me makes no sense." And the president goes, "I'm devastated."
Yes.
I just saw that again the other day.
But yeah, I don't even know what this movie's supposed to be about. That's the problem. Like when I see a trailer, and I've seen this trailer 3 or 4 times, I don't know what it's supposed to be about. There's like a single sliver in there where the girl's like, I got to do this for my mother.
That's right.
And you're like, oh, well, I don't have any emotional connection to your mother. So maybe the people who read the books.
I don't even know what the stakes are, but like, yeah, he says we've got a gun big enough to destroy an entire city. Of course you do, because they're all mobile. And if you have just kind of like a big gun, you probably take some shit out.
By the way, on the subject of books being turned into shitty-looking movies, 2 things. The Lee Child, who wrote the Jack Reacher series, has somehow made it so that there's a bunch of headlines going around that Tom Cruise is out as Jack Reacher as they turn it into a show.
Yeah.
And from what my research, I'm pretty good at research. From what my research shows, Lee Child hates Tom Cruise and wants him out. But Tom Cruise owns the rights.
Oh, really? Wow.
And he's trying, in my opinion, to force Tom Cruise to let go of them so he can make a show with somebody else.
Interesting.
Because he never liked Tom Cruise in the role.
Oh, he's
but
terrible.
But also, whoever the name of the guy is that wrote the Percy Jackson books. Apparently, I didn't watch all the video. I just read a summary, but apparently there's a video where he just kind of goes off about because apparently the studio came to him partway through production and he gave them all these notes on how to make it good and fix what they were doing. And they literally ignored them all.
Oh, fuck that, man.
And somebody in the comments said, well, Disney owns these rights now through the Fox purchase, so maybe he'll have another shot to get Percy Jackson out there.
Yeah,
Percy Jackson is one of the most, that one and Aragon are maybe the 2 most famous. The fans of the books are livid at the movies. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Mortal Engines probably be the same thing.
Yeah.
Then we have The Mule. It's a trailer. If you've gone to any movie theater in the last month, you've probably seen this trailer. The Clint Eastwood. It looks awesome.
It looks awesome, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like Gran Torino awesome.
Yeah, it looks, I mean, it's, I guess it's about a guy who is in his 80s who's still, running drugs and stuff like that. And looks like he gets into some stuff that's way over his head at his age, essentially. Like just people like, ready to kill him and stuff like that. It looks really interesting.
So Gran Torino meets We're the Millers?
Yes.
And actually, that would sell me if that were the pitch.
No, it's exactly because the trailer, like one of the first shots shows him getting pulled over and, laughing affably with the guy. And he opens up the trunk and it's a bricks of fucking cocaine or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they don't show anything that happens after that.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's super
I
super
somehow
intense.
haven't seen this trailer.
Well,
it looks really, really good.
Well, they do show that there's enough of a cover that he can just kind of like, it's not, the bricks of cocaine aren't just lying out in the middle.
Oh, I thought the cop was looking at them.
No, I think that there's enough of a cover there that the cop doesn't see it.
I see.
And whatever bullshit that he's pitching is working, probably also due to his age too.
Right.
Like if it was anybody else and
No, it's a perfect cover to have an old white dude running drugs for you, right?
Yeah. Then we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which, again, it looks great. It looks funny.
I'm so excited for this.
I want to see it. I just don't think it's going to connect to John Q. Customer, though.
I believe it's going to be a little too experimental.
Mm-hmm.
The animation is gorgeous, but a lot of times animation that doesn't look... There's a reason Illumination movies all look the same.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because sometimes when a movie comes along with animation that's way outside the stylistic norm, audiences can't figure it out. They're not necessarily drawn to it. And then the whole alternate universes crashing all into one, I think, has people confused. I understand it because I've read a little bit about it. I paid attention to the trailer, but I also kind of know how it works in the Spider-Man comics, in that there's like dozens of different Spider people with their own comic lines. I think it's going to be amazing, but I agree with Chris. I think it's going to flop. I think they should really be selling Lord and Miller's involvement more than they are.
Yeah.
From the guys that made the Lego movie.
I didn't even realize that they were involved.
Well, I don't think they're the directors. I think they're the producers or the writers.
Yeah. I was looking at this the other day, and I didn't see Miller's name.
Oh, maybe it's not even both of them.
Well, it's Lord for sure. Lord is on the screenplay. I do not see Miller, but he could be a producer or something. On it.
From a writer.
Yeah.
From Lego.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, it does have that same sensibility because it's got all this, this craziness that keeps coming in, like you have the spider pig, essentially, with John Mulaney's voice and everything. And you have Haley Steinfeld playing Gwen Stacy.
Yep.
And, but it's all these different spider people together. And it's really fun. I'm really looking forward to it, but I think this is one of those movies that tops out at like $40-50 million.
Yeah, it kind of has that vibe.
Yeah. It's got a unique animation style to
it.
It
may be one of those that lives on for a long time. I mean, depending on if it's good, but if it is good, I bet it'll find an audience.
I think
the
if
road.
you ask like hardcore superhero fans about Batman Mask of the Phantasm, they're all going to rave immediately. But it's not like that thing made $300 million at the box office and just killed.
Right.
It was released in the box office, made a little bit of money, and then found its audience on home video.
Yeah.
I don't think this will be that bad, but I think it'll be similar.
Also, is this too conspiratorial to say this is how they are going to get Miles Morales into a Spider-Man movie? Like they would never do a regular live action one.
No, I agree.
I think they were hinting at it in Homecoming because that's Donald Glover's nephew, right?
Yeah, that's the hint. But I still see that as more of an Easter egg.
Oh, really?
Than like a setup. And I do think, because this Into the Spider-Verse is taking place in Miles Morales' Spider-Man universe.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the Spider-Men have been sucked into Miles' world. So Peter Parker's in this movie, but he's not in his own universe in this movie. He's left his own universe. And I think this is all to get Miles Morales on the public consciousness a little higher than he was, so that they at least have the possibility.
Yeah. That was just something that I noticed. I was like, it's forever they've been talking about maybe doing a Miles Morales, and then they do it with the animation. And it's like, all right, well, I guess that counts.
Well, even when they announced Homecoming before it was called Homecoming, but they decided to make a new Spider-Man, there was a movement to cast Donald Glover and have him be the Miles Morales version in this new trilogy. And I think we will one day get there, because that is one of the new incarnations of a superhero that comics have done where the fans have all just kind of loved it.
That was a thing Donald Glover was saying, had in his stand-up act a few years ago. This is way before he was in Homecoming or anything like that, but he was talking about how he was rumored to be the next Miles Morales, or the next Spider-Man. He'd be Miles Morales and everything. And he's like, everybody came out on the internet and said, this is bullshit. And he's not, black people can't be Spider-Man and all that other stuff. And he's like, he saw one comment where somebody was like, this is like making Michael Cera Shaft. And he's like, do you know how long I would wait in line to watch Michael Cera play Shaft?
Yeah, that would rule.
Yeah. Then there is Barry Jenkins' new movie, If Beale Street Could Talk.
Yeah, man, this is swinging for the fences. It looks like.
Yeah.
It's a heavy dramatic.
It's a heavy movie. Like family drama type of thing.
Tell you what, if Walking in Memphis shows up in this movie, I am out.
I am going to doubt that it does.
It looks very good though.
Yeah, it does look good. It's it looks beautifully shot and everything. It's I don't know anything other than the trailer doesn't I don't remember the trailer giving me a real.
It looks like it's different generations. There's one guy that goes to jail and has impregnates his girlfriend or wife or whatever it is before that happens. I don't know how long away he's away for. But it's got a lot of characters, like actors that you recognize, but I didn't know a lot of them by name.
This Is Us Memphis.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what you're talking about sounds a lot like the movie that This Is Us guy just put out that flopped. That This Is We, whatever it was called.
Yeah, This Is We.
What was it? It's the one that had Oscar Isaacs in it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was a similarly innocuously named something.
It was.
We are this.
The one actor that I did know, I did know was Regina King.
Yeah.
And then, I will butcher this name, and I'm sorry, but Ingenue Ellis is another one.
But yeah, there's a bunch of people that you will recognize.
Yes.
Life Itself is what you're talking about. Actually.
Life Itself.
Yeah.
Life Itself.
Yeah, it might as well be.
Christ.
This Is We. Might as well be. They should have just called the title Might As Well Be. Then we have the PG-13 Deadpool, Once Upon a Deadpool, which has apparently Fred Savage in it.
Okay. I saw the trailer.
Did you know this was coming out?
I knew a PG-13 version was coming out, but does it have new footage?
Yes.
Like throughout? Like, is it 30% or is it?
No, I think it's probably going to end up being 10, 12 minutes of new footage.
Okay.
And what's the rest of it going to be?
A heavily edited Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they put out a trailer for this.
I saw the trailer. The trailer's fucking great.
Yeah, but I think that's the joke.
Right.
Like the trailer itself, now this, don't get me wrong, it'll make plenty of money. Maybe not as much as they hope, but the trailer is the joke. Fred Savage being there. If I go see the movie and Fred Savage is in it, which he's gonna be, it's gonna be less funny to me now. And then it's just gonna be the movie I've already seen with some of the fucks bleeped or gone.
Yeah.
And I'm more fascinated from a business standpoint than I am an entertainment standpoint. I don't think there's much value entertainment wise, but from a business standpoint, I think they're kind of hoping they might have found a way to make an extra 40 or 50 million off.
And I bet they will.
They might very well do it.
It seems like there is a lot of sort of experimenting going on, like this, like if this, like I don't like the idea of this experiment just because if it does do something, that means they're going to revert back to PG-13 movies.
Or they're just going to give us two versions now.
Yeah, right. Or they'll just give us two versions.
That's true.
And it feels like that's what it almost feels like, because this Mary Poppins Returns is coming out. Saving Mr. Banks was sort of an idea of, is Mary Poppins still popular? And it turns out that a lot of people went to go see that Saving Mr. Banks movie. So yeah, let's make Mary Poppins Returns, which may have already been in development when that was big. But it's weird that Saving Mr. Banks was a Christmas movie a couple years ago, and now they're coming out with Mary Poppins Returns.
Yeah, and that Mary Poppins movie is going to make all the billions.
Yes, it is. And then we have Aquaman. I like the director. I like James Wan. I don't like anything else about it. That trailer looks awful, and it could be that we're just old guys. I understand that. I don't think my 18-year-old self would be interested in this movie.
You know what it looks like. DC now, and having accidentally caught Justice League on HBO and stuff like that. Just with the color palette that they're working with the effects and the rubberiness of the characters, it's like they've given up on trying to do anything competitive to Marvel. And they're going super pulpy and bright colors and, cartoonish effects. And that's their thing.
Yeah.
But nobody likes their thing.
Well, that's the thing. It's almost like they feel like they have to counter program Marvel within the superhero genre. When that's the very reason they're failing.
Yeah. And they're doubling down on it from the looks of this trailer and from Justice League. They took all the wrong lessons, and it seems like they're just digging in. This is our thing.
I agree, except for Aquaman. The trailer for Aquaman to me felt Avatar levels of neon bright.
Yes.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And that to me is not typical of DC's films to date. In the DC,
but you mean tone more than color.
Yes, that's the thing. Is we're semantically stepping on different. Anyway, movie looks like shit. I'm gonna need 5 people I trust to tell me it's good before I give that movie any money.
Jason Momoa, it looks fine. He wasn't the problem with Justice League or anything like that. He looks like he's got an irreverent take on, or maybe the character's irreverent. I don't really know a whole lot about Aquaman besides the Saturday morning cartoons where he was like I think the comics have tried ever since those cartoons to make him less of a joke. Oh, okay. Because he became the joke. Right. That's why they even had Ben Affleck talking about, I hear you can talk to fish. I'm clever. That's actually the whole line. I don't know if you remember that from that movie.
And there's a scene too where it looks like they're going down to the Gungan city. Yeah. And it's just, I mean, you would think that somebody during the concepts of all that would have been like, I'm getting Star Wars prequel sensibilities here. We should change this.
And that's what I'm saying is I don't think they care. I think they want to make that their thing, but just nobody's going to buy it.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's like when they put out the Love Letter the same weekend that Phantom Menace opened. It's counter programming. Yep. And it just like happened there. Nobody went to see fucking the Love Letter.
Yeah.
Nobody. Not even the promise of Tom Everett Scott.
No.
Could pull people in.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. So, I mean, he was the main draw of La La Land. Then we have Bumblebee. It's almost like this December is a bunch of summer castaways.
And that's why it's so fucking annoying that Solo came out so early when they could have had prime real estate.
Yes.
In December. Not saying that you guys would have liked that movie anymore. I'm just saying it would have made a lot more money.
They would have had more time to make the movie too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And they had a whole snow planet scene. Snow planet movies feel good in the winter.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. Bumblebee is not directed by Michael Bay. It is a part of this so-called Transformers expanded universe or whatever that they're starting to do, or at least a spin-off.
This is a prequel, right?
Yes,
it has to be because
it happens within the
because the Haley Steinfeld stuff where she's like, "What is this? I don't understand what this is." Doesn't make any sense if it's not a prequel. If it's just a straight sequel, how does she not know?
No, I know the answers here. It's a prequel,
and it's within the same universe.
Yes.
Okay.
And cashing in on what is ever the rage, 80s nostalgia.
Right.
Because we're going back to the 80s, and she's going to make all kinds of 80s references. But this trailer looks awesome.
It does.
It looks awesome. Yeah. And the reason I think it looks awesome, it feels like the old cartoon where they had come to Earth, they meet up with a human. That like the new movies, Mike Bay wanted so much. Like Bay, I don't think ever wanted to make a Transformers movie. He wanted to make Pacific Rim robots fighting each other, and crammed it into the Transformers universe, because Transformers, in my memory, was always as much about hiding and running as it was fighting with, like, when they fought, it was like season finale, bitches. Like, they were, most of the time, it was like reconnaissance and sneaking and repairing. Anyway, this movie looks awesome to me. I have my fingers crossed, but I will not be surprised if it sucks.
Well,
You're excited about
Haley Steinfeld is a much more appealing lead than Shia LaBeouf and Mark Wahlberg.
Or Megan Fox.
Yes, or Megan Fox. And for that alone, I may end up watching this. But the trailer problem for me is that it's the same shit. The robots, the Transformers, and everybody are having problems on their other planet, and for some reason it always somehow comes back to Earth. And like, get your shit together on the other planet. Why is everything on Earth? You didn't even really have that big of a presence on Earth, and except you stashed all your fucking artifacts.
I think I just realized something. Maybe my goodwill towards this movie is simply because of the Transformers characters that are in it.
Oh yeah,
because Michael Bay threw so many of my favorites to the side. We never got fucking Sideswipe, right? But this movie looks like it has Starscream. Looks like it has the boombox evil guy, sound blaster, Soundwave. Fuck. Yeah. But it's got all the ones from the cartoon that I remember.
Right.
Maybe that's just tapping in.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to run home 14 blocks from elementary school to catch the last 15 minutes of a Transformers cartoon
You were
episode.
a huge Transformers fan.
I still have the comics.
But it makes you wonder, why were those Transformers cartoons playing at exactly that time?
Yeah.
Rather than a little bit later, considering...
Yeah. It was like an hour block, and it was Transformers and then G.I. Joe, and I didn't like G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
But I would have to run home to get to the end of Transformers and then change it over to like a Cubs game or some shit.
Yeah. Then we have second act. We talked about second act in the fall preview and how I just don't believe in this movie at all. Like Jennifer Lopez is supposed to be this like poor worker, and we're supposed to be like, all excited that this poor person gets into this executive
I'm
role.
supposed to be all excited because she's wearing a backpack.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Yeah,
exactly.
hey, somebody faked a Facebook page, and that gets you a job.
Yeah, and so it's like I don't feel like Jennifer Lopez, and this is a problem of someone having their image thrown out there every day. I don't believe it when we're supposed to be happy that you are a poor person coming to become rich or in a big position of power, when you are that person. You are already that person. And so like, it needs to be somebody else. It needs to be it needs to be a Gina Rodriguez or somebody like that. That would make more sense than Jennifer fucking Lopez.
She's still Jenny from the block, man.
No, she really isn't.
She really is. I'm not sure she ever was.
I can guarantee you that if she went to the fucking Bronx, she'd be running back into trying to get the fuck out of there as soon as possible. As soon as everybody starts crowding around her and everything. Then we have Welcome to Marwen. This is a movie that I really want to see and I really hope is good and everything, but I'm getting all those weird Secret Life of Walter Mitty vibes from it.
Yes, that's the same way I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Although I will say, in that movie's defense, I was really underwhelmed by it, but after 5 more viewings, I kind of secretly love it.
Really?
Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie grew on me
First
hard.
of all, you've watched it that many times.
There's an episode of Parks and Rec where Chris Pratt is talking about which movie is it? It's like, I wish I remembered the movie, but he's like, it's like watching that movie. At first you watch it, it's pretty good. And then the second time you watch it, okay, it's all right. And then the third time you watch it, it's, I don't know if I really like this or not. And then the fourth one, it's really not that good. But no, I can see that. It's Secret Life of Walter Mitty or Downsizing or any of these type of movies is what Welcome to Marwen feels like. Steve Carell has been badly beaten in some sort of street fight or something like that. And to cope with that, he's sort of created his own worlds with these. Now, I don't know if this is all in his, I guess it's all in his head. I don't think he's doing stop motion shit in his, like,
Right.
he's not actually filming this or anything.
He is
I think
staging
he's
dioramas.
Yeah, he's
and photographing.
Yeah, but he's not like doing the
No.
like frame by frame.
No, those are fantasy sequences.
Yeah,
I'm
those
almost
are
positive.
Yeah, I think those are fantasy sequences. But in the fantasy sequences are hyper realistic looking versions of the actors, like Janelle Monáe and Leslie Mann and all these. And that's how
But
he
they
sort of copes.
intentionally uncanny valleyed them up too,
Yes.
like to where they look fake.
Right.
This is also kind of giving me Singing Detective vibes. Did you ever see that movie?
I've seen parts of Singing Detective. I've never seen the whole thing.
It's hard to watch. His makeup job is hard to watch when he's burn version.
They've been playing it on HBO a lot recently.
Who's in that?
Robert Downey
Jr. And Katie Holmes. And
it's not good.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't recommend it.
All
I just
right.
meant a guy who's traumatized has fantasy sequences.
Right.
It's really the only connection.
right. And that I think that's the only reason why I stopped over was like Katie Holmes. All right.
She's your Kristen Stewart.
Yeah,
Maybe
she
she'll do
kinda
that shoulder thing.
Yeah, maybe she'll do the shoulder thing. But Welcome to Marwen looks really good. It looks like maybe a return to form for Robert Zemeckis, but
Yeah.
you never know.
You hope?
But I like Steve Carell. I like Leslie Mann. I like Janelle Monáe. I'm definitely going to watch.
This
It's a
is one of
40-year-old
those-
virgin.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that kind of it's like a roller coaster from the ground. You can see the setup and it looks perfect, but you don't really know what's waiting on the other side of that hill.
Mhm.
And it could really go south quick, or it could be thrilling. And I'm hoping for the latter because I really want it to work.
I got to watch Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Have you never seen it
I don't think I have.
at all?
No.
Well, then you're going to find it probably like charming.
Okay.
Just because there's nothing
This is Ben
bad
Stiller,
about
right?
it. Yeah, it just doesn't hit, like it thinks it's hitting home runs and it's hitting like singles and doubles. And it's got a fantastic soundtrack.
I got to check it out.
Then we have Cold War, which is now is this going straight to Amazon? Like I'm sure it'll have a theatrical release just for Oscar consideration, but is this essentially straight going to Amazon, or
They
is
produced it. I think it's going to the
because they
service,
do
yeah.
come out with movies theatrically,
Yes.
and let them have a good run
Yes.
a lot of times. So, but it is an Amazon produced
well,
movie.
yeah. I mean, Casey Affleck, Manchester by the Sea was an Amazon movie.
Yeah, exactly. This one is it's like a romance. It's a black and white. It looks beautiful.
You know, first of all, the leads in this movie are scorchingly attractive, both the male and the female.
Yes.
Female in particular.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got almost like a La La Land vibe with a lot of singing and dancing and drama and stuff like that. But it's one of those trailers where like every other frame has some sort of glowing review from a critic, where it's like spellbinding, sultry, everything, Us Weekly, LA Times, Hollywood Reporter, like all this stuff, New York Times. And it's like, sorry to bother you had all that on there too, right?
Yep.
And that ultimately came out to mixed reviews.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
And of course, you never know about those blurbs either, where they cut words out sometimes, you know. I saw one. I shouldn't even bring it up because I can't even remember what it was. But there was one that it was so obvious that they cut out stuff, and it was whatever the blurb was basically just meant nothing.
It's like this movie really goes for it.
Yeah.
This movie is a movie,
right? Yeah, it was almost. I mean, no, seriously, it was like that almost.
It has a beginning and an end.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it was very much like that. It's like and you read, and I was reading that. I read that blurb. I sat there and looked at it for a long time. I was like, "What is that saying?"
There were doors. There were walls.
Yeah, there were doors. There were walls.
This looks interesting, though.
Yeah, it does. It reminds me, and we don't have this on the preview because, but that Roma movie that's, is it coming?
Oh, how did I leave that out? That's like December 16th.
It's got that's the date it hits Netflix.
Right.
It's got a super limited release. I'm not even sure it's going to come to Nashville.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
don't know.
only in New York and LA right now.
And I would love to see this on a big screen, actually,
Yeah.
because it looks gorgeous.
It does. And I don't know why. I think I even saw doesn't it even say in the trailer, doesn't one of the blurbs they quote say, see it on the biggest screen possible? And I had to chuckle when I realized, well, 98% of us are going to be seeing this on Netflix. So
yeah.
that's on you.
I cannot fucking wait.
Oh, that trailer's amazing.
Man, I went back and I watched Great Expectations again.
Yeah.
The Quaron version from 1998.
That's interesting. I've seen that since the last time we discussed it.
Yeah.
I watched it for you.
I can find the cracks in it. I was infatuated with it back in the day, but I've watched it probably 20, 25 times now, and I can find the little cracks in it. But I did realize he's got like an 8-minute unbroken one shot.
Oh yeah,
that follows Ethan Hawke when he's going to attend his cocktail party and ends up running into Estella. And it follows him all the way into the party and through and all that stuff and all the conversation with Hank Azaria. And then him running out after them in the rain to the restaurant and them dancing. And then them coming out of that restaurant and going to his place to have sex. And you can see like the early stages of where he's going to build to Children of Men and stuff like that.
That's the thing I came away with. The two takeaways were I still don't really like that movie, but it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the end is hammy as hell, but I'm imagining that's how the book is written, and the movie's just following with it. But it's like Convenience Town at the end of that movie.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't know if we mentioned his name, but it's Alfonso Cuarón who did Roma, and
Roma.
Yeah, so that looks fantastic.
But my point is that I think he's building. Even though I guess you could say he took a step back with Gravity, it's just different subject matter than Children of Men. Mm-hmm. But like it seems like he's building and building and building.
Yeah.
And this one I'm just super geeked for.
Yeah, I am too. I can't wait to see it. All right, so it's time to talk about Mubi again.
Yeah.
And man, they just keep on coming out with stuff that you're compelled to watch.
I know.
I saw Steve McQueen's first movie.
Okay, I am so psyched to watch that.
Yeah, it's called Hunger.
Yeah.
And because it's Steve McQueen, obviously it's going to go to the depths of like, oh, this is awful.
What is it about?
So it is about a prisoner. It's about prisoners who are from the Irish Republican Army who are sent to this prison called the Maze Prison or something like that. Mm. Irish Republicans are still trying to get seen by the English Parliament and all that. That's I guess the crux of there's like obviously a long backstory with the Irish Republican Army and British rule and all sort of stuff. But they're considered terrorists because they do all of their things as political crimes, political bombings, political everything. There's a thing from, I think it's actually the actual Margaret Thatcher stuff that's saying that she's like, we don't consider these political bombings. We don't consider these political murders, political blah, blah, blah. We just consider them criminal murders, blah, 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 blah. So these prisoners are being sent to this Maze prison, and they are immediately protesting their incarceration, doing stuff like going on hunger strikes, which is what the title is about, and doing other stuff that's really gross, like smearing their own shit on the walls and like pouring out their toilets into the hallways, and
that's how I got my parents to buy me a Nintendo.
There you go.
Yep. And so we follow two prisoners at first, and they're the ones who are sort of like the ones who are making everything happen with the other prisoners. And then Michael Fassbender shows up, and he's the main guy for a while, for the rest of the movie. Once he shows up, he's definitely like considered like one of the big leaders of this movement and everything. And there is a 17-minute unbroken shot. Now it's not like a crazy go down the hallway and like, how'd they do all that with the lights and the focus and all that. It's just a static shot of him and Liam Cunningham, who plays Sir Davos in Game of Thrones, plays a priest, of them talking about what he's about to do. And he's like, I'm going to go on another hunger strike. The last hunger strike that happened, that was a bunch of bullshit, and people got a little emotional about it and didn't go the full way. I'm willing to go the full way with this. And the priest is like, no, you don't want to do this. This is going to be considered suicide. This is going to be considered something against the church. You don't want to do that. And he's trying to appeal to him. You've got a young son at home, all this other stuff. You don't want to do any of this. He's like, I'm willing to go the full way. Tells a whole story about why he's willing to go the full way. That is the centerpiece of the movie, and it's fucking amazing. Apparently I read that Liam Cunningham moved into Michael Fassbender's apartment, and they sat there and did that scene for like 4 or 5 days to make sure they got it right.
Wow.
And it's one of those things like when it just comes up on you, you're like, oh wait a minute, they've been talking for a really long time, and then it just keeps going. You're like, damn, they're fucking good. They got it in 4 takes apparently.
Wow.
Fassbender, it's basically about him and going on that hunger strike and everything, and he apparently had to go on a crash diet that was medically monitored.
Oh Jesus!
That's he was doing the whole like method thing where he was like, you could see his ribs and I don't know what he's got these awful bed sores at some point, and,
wow.
But
has he been in every Steve McQueen movie? Because he was McQueen did Shame, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah,
and he was in 12 Years a Slave.
12 Years a Slave, but I don't know if he's in Widows.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Oh man, I really want to see
probably
that.
is. Now that you said that,
yeah, he
probably has like
is.
a cameo somewhere.
He probably does show up.
He's like Bruce Campbell to Steve McQueen's Sam Raimi.
Yes, that's
maybe
right.
so.
The movie is very good. Obviously, it is dark material. You don't want to get into that in if you're in a bad mood or whatever. So
if you are in a bad mood and want to be lifted out of it, there's one movie that's a classic that's playing on there right now called The Lion in Winter.
Yeah.
And Jesus Christ, you want to see some all-star, all-time acting genius, watch this movie. Peter O'Toole plays King Henry. Katharine Hepburn plays his wife. Young Anthony Hopkins plays his son. There's Timothy Dalton in there.
Wait. Anthony Hopkins was young?
That's right. Yeah, he plays Richard the Lionheart. So there's like a Robin Hood.
Oh, wow.
That's just not possible.
This movie is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
This is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Haven't seen it in forever, but I saw it in high school, and so I'm going to have to watch it now as an older person.
This is definitely a good excuse, because O'Toole... By the way, O'Toole was only 36 when he played this, but he's playing King Henry at 50. Mm-hmm. The relationship between Henry and his wife, played by Katharine Hepburn, is magical because they hate each other, kind of, because he's fucked around the whole time, but they still love each other. They still crack each other up. This movie is not like one of those heavy, classic, all these fanciful medieval stuff.
I like that voice you're doing.
It's got like a lot of humor. It's got a lot of acerbic wit and things like that. It is awesome. You should totally watch
that
this.
was also Hepburn tied for Best Actress that year with Barbara Streisand.
Oh, really?
For Funny Girl.
Wow.
And
Funny Face.
Funny Face? No, it's Funny Girl.
Funny Girl. That's right.
Funny people?
Yeah. Funny people, yes.
Yeah,
it is Funny Girl, but they tied. I think it's the only time that's ever happened is a tie for any of those awards.
That's a little crazy to me because as I've seen Funny Girl and it's perfectly fine, but Katharine Hepburn is goddamn unbelievable in this movie.
They may have been tired. They may have had some Hepburn,
Hepburn fatigue. Anyway, if you want to experience these movies like we have, go to mubi.com/cinemasins, mubi.com/cinemasins. You get 30-day free trial.
Free!
That's right.
Free!
30 days. That's
There's
a lot of movies.
Literally no risk.
That's right.
It takes like 30 seconds of your time to go over there and sign up.
The more I get into this service, the more I want other things curated for me.
Yeah. Seriously.
I love this so much to where I wouldn't just pop in The Lion in Winter, but because it's there and I was like, man, that's got a lot of good people in it. You watch that and you're like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have otherwise experienced it. So
yeah.
Sign up today. It's awesome.
Then there is Mary Poppins Returns. I couldn't be less excited about a movie.
I couldn't either.
It looks charming.
I mean,
it looks perfectly fine. And I love Emily Blunt. I love me some Emily Blunt. But I will not be watching this in theaters unless I'm dragged into it somehow.
No, I do think it's going to be the hit of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be like all those other Disney live actions that I hate.
Yeah.
That everyone else is going to like it. The critics are going to think it's anywhere from good to great, and I'm going to not like it.
Mm-hmm.
What are the competitors to the hit of this season? It's not going to be Aquaman, right?
Well, I'm just saying there are a number of movies that hope to make big box office in December, and I think this one's going to walk away with the crown.
Yeah,
it's
I guess
going to do it
Bumblebee
easily.
could.
The problem is that Aquaman is going to have it's going to have DC fatigue, which is I know that we should think that there's Marvel fatigue, but they keep making movies people like.
Yeah, exactly.
And DC is making movies that people don't like, really. And so, like, I feel like Aquaman and Bumblebee sort of cancel each other out. They're coming out the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's not good.
I think that's how they've got that lined up.
Yeah, second act, Bumblebee and Aquaman and Welcome to Marwen are all on the same day.
Yeah, and so I don't know what the producers of Bumblebee are thinking here. I really think that Aquaman should just have had the release date, and Bumblebee should have been a summer 2019 movie.
They've been showing the trailers for like a fucking year now.
Yeah, or they could have snuck it in on a March or something, or an April. It would, why does it have to be on this date? You're just cannibalizing each other.
Yep.
Then there's Holmes and Watson.
Oh, God.
This is Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly back together, but no Adam McKay.
And there's one laugh in that trailer.
Yes.
When he tries to shoot the bees with the gun.
Yes.
Right. Every other joke in that trailer is not only not funny, it's bad.
Yeah.
Right.
And some of it is just fucking offensive because they can get away with it.
And the poster of them doing gang signs of an H and a W.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's a 5% chance they know what they're doing in this movie is a troll. Right?
Yeah.
This is a guy who made an entire movie in Spanish just because he could.
Yeah.
This is a guy who has multiple years made Super Bowl commercials for a tiny brewery that air in one market in middle America. Like, Will Ferrell does what Will Ferrell wants.
He did that whole Lifetime movie that apparently was like pretty straightforward.
So this movie looks terribly unfunny, and I'm not going to go see it.
And I was reading some YouTube comments, and I saw 2 comments to the effect of, "This looks terrible, I'll be first in line."
Yeah, I bet you there's a lot of people doing that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect.
I don't know what they're doing. You're right. I would love for this to be a troll drive. Like he knows exactly this is material that's been gone over many times. This
like
is
if
slapstick.
it's some kind of Andy Kaufman thing.
I'm going to be intentionally unfunny.
That's
and then it's
the
going to be
only
funny.
way it works.
Yeah.
Even choosing Sherlock Holmes of all things, which is done to death in the last 20 years. It's just everything about this feels wrong.
I think if you had Adam McKay on it, I think it would have probably been a lot better. But speaking of which,
he's busy.
He's going to have a movie in direct competition with this one called Vice coming out.
Baby.
They're both coming out December 26th, which is an odd release date. It's the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
But Vice looks great.
Why do you say that? You guys both don't like biopics.
No, but I don't think this is a biopic.
This isn't a true biopic, though. It's like The Big Short isn't really a biopic.
Yeah, but this is about one
It
person.
is, but it's not going to go through that same. It's not going to go through all that same shit that all the other biopics do. I don't believe. I could be wrong, but it looks like it's focused on the 8 years that he was VP.
Yeah, and I guess maybe a little bit before like his rise.
Yeah,
to
a little bit
Secretary
before.
of Defense.
A little
and
bit before,
stuff
sure.
like that.
But it's not going to be one of these things like Bohemian Rhapsody where they're trying to get the entire like.
Here's Dick Cheney in
No
high
kidding.
school.
Yeah.
I do think for me, Sam Rockwell is the draw.
Yeah.
He's playing it understated, but also like just spot on. You know,
I mean that I'm already seeing Oscar buzz for Christian Bale, but and maybe he's great, but just what I see in the trailer, it's Sam Rockwell for me. I want to see. Plus, it's just a fucking awesome trailer. It's cut really well. It uses that killer song, "The Man," perfectly. So it may not live up to it, but they did screen a couple days ago, and the early reviews are really good.
Yeah, Bale looks like a just dead on Dick Cheney.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm definitely watching this, and there's like a brief glimpse of Carell in this too. Steve Carell.
He's Donald Rumsfeld.
Yeah, he's Donald Rumsfeld. And Amy Adams is Lynn Cheney.
What
yeah,
a year
it's got
for him.
so much good stuff going for it. But
Steve Carell's in this. He's in Welcome to Marwan. He's in Beautiful Boy.
Yeah.
Like, that's 3 pretty heavy-hitting movies all in this fall season. Sorry, I didn't mean to get in the way of your thought there.
did you guys ever see W?
Yeah.
Yes.
CW.
I've seen it twice now. I'm fascinated how many times they say Bushy
Yeah.
and Poppy.
Well, where did you think, the movie aside, because I think the movie overall is probably generally bad. What'd you think of Brolin's performance?
I like it if he was told to play it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is Oliver Stone,
Yeah.
right? I feel like that's Oliver Stone's opinion of Bush.
Mm-hmm.
And Brolin plays him, well, he plays him about the dumbest person that ever lived.
Yeah, he's completely moronic.
And I don't think the real George Bush is anywhere near that dumb. I think he may look dumb in comparison to other family members. I think he may talk Texan and sound dumb.
I mean, from the early glimpses of Sam Rockwell in these, though, it looks like he's playing him just as dumb, though. Like, oh, let's do that.
I feel like Rockwell's playing him more affably clueless.
Yeah, I don't think there's any similarities really between his performance and Josh Brolin's. And he's not doing caricature, which I really appreciate.
Right. Not like the Will Ferrell version.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's one of the things that I was surprised about when the Vice trailer first hit, was how many people saying, well, Dick Cheney looks so much like Dick Cheney, but Sam Rockwell doesn't look anything like George W. Bush. And I was like, that's not the point of that whole movie for me. Like, just because he doesn't look like, I think he does, but I mean, it's mannerisms and it's a lot of other things.
Totally does, yeah.
Anthony Hopkins doesn't look very much like Nixon.
Well, and that's another. I brought that up. Nick Hopkins very purposely didn't do a Nixon impression, so that, because all you're going to be doing is sitting there like focused on the impression, how good the impression is. Because if he went out there and did a Dick Nixon, blah blah blah, that's all we would be sitting there watching. We wouldn't care about the story or anything like that. I'm all in for Vice. That The Big Short, like I've hammered that movie. It's so good.
Adam McKay has a terrific batting average.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, did he do Anchorman 2? That may have. I think he probably had some involvement on it. But as a director, like, he's batting almost 1,000. I think.
Yeah, he's good.
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah,
he did.
Funny People.
No,
he didn't do funny.
That was
Apatow.
Apatow.
You're right. Sorry, got him crossed.
No, there's a lot of overlap.
But Anchorman 2. I mean, I almost wonder if that's anybody's fault except the studios.
Yeah, they're like, well, if you're gonna throw $80 million at us, all right, I guess we'll get the band back together.
And then finally, rounding out December, we have On the Basis of Sex, which is is another Ruth Bader Ginsburg story. This time more dramatized. We have an RBG documentary that came out earlier this year.
Did you see it?
I haven't seen it. No. Felicity Jones playing.
Man, she looks really good in this.
Yeah, she does.
And Armie Hammer looks like a giant compared to her, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
And they don't use any tricks to hide it.
I was gonna say, I'm starting to think Armie Hammer's just a giant.
Yeah.
I watched Call Me By Your Name again the other day because you made me feel so bad for not liking it. I did like it a little more. I still don't like it very much. But
no, I think we had the same reaction.
He towers over everybody. In that
totally.
movie. And not everybody in that movie is tiny. Anyway, Armie Hammer, he'd be big.
Yeah. So that'll do it for December. Then we have January, which is your typical garbage dump month. There's first off, not on this list, but I couldn't find a trailer anyway. There's a horror movie apparently called Eli coming out. I have no fucking clue what that's all about.
I don't know either.
It's a prequel to the Book of Eli.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how he gets blind.
That's what I immediately. That's the whole story about how he gets blind.
It's actually a biopic about Eli Roth.
Yes. I mean, it is a horror movie.
That's like the movie I want to watch the least.
Yeah.
Eli, in his own words.
Yeah, exactly. Starring Heather Matarazzo.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Then there's a movie called Escape Room, and Barrett wisely calls it Saw 9 in the notes.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I am interested in this. It reminds me of is it just called Cube?
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Cube.
Yeah, it reminds me of Cube, only with more interesting areas for them to go into. And it also reminds me of what Saw, I think, should have been.
Yep.
The first Saw, I was like, okay, I'm kind of on board with this. But then as it got further and further into its series, I was like, man, they're not really coming up with anything like clever for them to get out of anymore. It just kind of
just about the gruesomeness.
And I didn't like that. With the escape room, it looks like there's some clever things in here.
It does. It starts off very cleverly. Once they get into the actual room, there's a big fad of doing escape rooms in the U.S. right now. I've never done one. Have you done one?
Nope.
But there's like 4 or 5 of them that are super popular around here.
Yeah, it'll go away. It's like muffin shops. It's got like a 7-year shelf life. Don't you remember when there were like cupcake shops on every corner, and now there's none of them, man?
Guess not.
Like Gigi's
Top of the muffin
cupcake and like Bob's cupcakes. It was like the thing for soccer moms to do is get their own cupcake franchise.
Yeah.
But it's got Deborah Ann Wall in it. It's got Tyler Labine. You've seen in a million fucking things before. He's been in a bunch of TV shows.
Good to see Deborah Ann Wall, man.
Yeah, no kidding. And then Jay Ellis, who plays in Insecure.
Oh yeah,
as the main like ex-boyfriend of Issa Rae in that show. But it looks good. It looks like I mean, it's a January movie, so it probably isn't.
Yeah,
but I'm kind of wanting to see it.
It looks well shot. It looks, like it's capably acted. It's probably going to hit the same beats, but it's interesting enough to where...
Well, I think we're actually we're in the middle of a little bit of a revolution, at least in terms of how the studios see these months.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we're going to get another one with, we'll talk about it in a moment, but the Lego sequel is going to come out in February.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first Lego came out in February.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Deadpool came out in February.
Yeah.
And so I think they're starting to change their thinking. And so now a January or February release doesn't mean the bad quality it used to mean 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I do want to get into that, but because I think the Valentine's Day period for February is a little different from all the other ones. But yeah, what you're saying is still true. They are looking for months now that typically haven't been looked at before because they just, nobody's going out to watch movies. So, fuck it. We won't come out with anything good.
People aren't going out to see movies because there is nothing good.
Right.
It's
They don't understand that shit.
Tail.
They never have, they don't, for some reason, never have understood that shit.
Right.
Then we talked about this in a previous preview, but replicas. Keanu Reeves basically his family, he and his family get in a car accident, and his whole family dies, and then he goes and replicates all of them, and they don't know that they're replicas until like something happens. And
boy, this looks awful.
Yeah, I don't know. I really am kind of attracted to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't explain it. I want to see the shit out of this.
Well, I watched 47 Ronin, so who am I to talk?
Yeah, it does look terrible. You're right, but I want to see it. And Alice Eve is in it too, so I'm down with some Alice Eve.
Did you ever see that Alice Eve joint called ATM?
No.
You know who else is in it? One of the guys from Drake and Josh.
Oh, really?
Ass to mouth?
No, one of the guys from Drake and Josh.
No, wait.
Drake
What?
Bell and Josh something.
What? I don't know what the connection here is.
I don't either, but he's got Apple.
ATM.
Oh.
I was thinking of that Clerks 2 thing.
Okay. You weren't talking about
ass to mouth.
the money machine.
So yeah, it's like some sort of ATM vestibule in the middle of a parking lot.
I remember that coming out.
30
actually.
Below winter. Alice Eve's in that. It's a terrible, shitty movie. Run the fuck away.
Well, and the first time I saw her was in that Jay Baruchel movie. She's Out of My League.
Oh yeah.
Which is a decent,
Oh, yeah.
decent movie actually. But I like me some Alice Eve. Then there is The Upside.
Of anger?
It's just The Upside this time.
Damn.
Yeah. Although I've seen The Upside of Anger. I can't remember. What was that all about?
Dude, I watched this trailer yesterday, and it's already gone from my memory.
Well, it's a Kevin Hart, Bryan Cranston, Nicole Kidman
that's
movie.
right.
Oh, it's a remake of a French film that's way better.
Oh, is it?
Is this the remake of
Untouchables?
Intouchables?
Intouchables, yeah,
Really?
okay.
Yeah, when they announced this, I was on Twitter panning this shit because the Untouchables is great, and there's
Have you
no
seen it?
reason. Yeah, and there's no reason
It's
to make
the
it
Intouchables, right?
Intouchables.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to remake it except the fact that we're ignorant Americans who won't watch a film that's in French.
I'd like to
this will
watch that,
probably make
actually.
plenty of money, and maybe you'll even get an Oscar, but it'll still be unoriginal bullshit.
That's
Well,
true. It does
yeah.
look
Not to
kinda
mention,
good,
I am
though.
not ready for the redemption of Kevin Hart. He needs to be shit on some more before he gets in good movies. I'm not ready for this.
Why?
Because he
he's been
doesn't
in such
try
shitty
enough.
movies? Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so it's got some moments in there that look like they might be fun or whatever, but it looks like a movie that was cast off into January.
That's not a good sign because,
Yeah.
I guess no, it has to be considered for the Oscars. Do you have to come out before the end of the calendar year?
Yes, you have to be in a movie theater in somewhere in America.
So then this movie's probably, I think, Jeremy logic tells me this movie's not very good.
Yeah, I mean, now it could very well get like some sort of weird limited release
That's true.
and be available for whatever, but it looks like they just scheduled it for January.
I'm not going anyway. I'm pissed off.
I do want to watch Intouchables, though.
It's good.
Yeah.
I think I've got that here.
I remember it being at near the top of those IMDb top 100 lists.
I only
And-
saw it once, but I loved it. I thought it was great.
Then we have Glass, which will be the big hit of January.
It will.
It is a continuation or spinoff of Unbreakable and of the other
Split.
Split.
Did Split come out in January?
Yes, it did.
yes.
So here I think is a case of a studio intentionally programming
Yes.
against the standard, the traditional way of thinking.
They said Split did well. So
The sequel will-
this will, and you start seeing that all the time. Like I remember when 300 came out in March of whatever, suddenly you started seeing a lot of these same type of movies coming out around that time and everything. And they're like, oh, it's not that people like good movies on this time. It's people like movies that are like that. during
Multiple
this-
personality
Exactly.
movies.
Yeah.
boy, so I did watch this trailer for Glass.
Oh no.
No, I'm fine with it. I was thinking about it. I was like, do I really care if this is spoiled at all? My point is, though, there's so much shown in that trailer that I'm wondering what's behind it. Because Shyamalan's not going to let a ton of stuff out, like a ton of like plot points out.
I do not need to know how they all get out into the free world.
Does
But
it
I-
show how they did?
Pretty much.
Oh,
Maybe you didn't watch the trailer I saw.
maybe I watched
Almost
that
beat for beat. I know exactly what's going to happen for them to all get out of that facility.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe that happens in the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Right.
And I'm all for that. I still wish I hadn't seen it.
Right.
But this movie is already a winner. Like, if you go on the internet, if you go to any place where movie buffs talk movies, where it's movie Twitter, movie Reddit, they are already all in on this thing. And
it does look very pretty.
it looks fantastic. They were all in when it was announced.
Yeah.
And that's my only pause, is that we still have to see the movie. Because my brother was in town recently. He was like, do I need to see Split before I see Glass? And I was like, no. It's a kidnapped girls in a basement movie with a guy who has multiple personalities, and at the very end, there's Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
Boy, they
there's
doubled down on the whole horde thing too for this guy, because
yeah.
you see him doing like cheetah links running through a yard and stuff like that, and lifting up a car. So I guess I never really understood from Split if he was able to do the stuff that he thought he was able to do, but I guess it's definitive now.
Well, there's that. The only scene that hints at it is that scene with Anya Taylor-Joy where he's like up on the wall coming toward, I think it's her, where he's like on the wall, then he's on the side, then he's on the ceiling, and he's like, humans can't move that way.
Yeah, I guess so. And then he bends the thing a little bit, but
I think it's just a part of one of his personalities that's the one that can do that.
And I think you could make an argument because there's that whole adrenaline thing where people have been known to lift a car off of somebody, and if his personality believes it strongly enough, I don't really care about that. I just want the movie to be good.
Yeah.
And it looks good. So here's hope.
I agree.
I will definitely see it.
Yeah. But I think that I like Unbreakable because it's so different from a superhero movie. And now it seems like it's kind of getting into the world of being like a really honest to God superhero movie with a lot of CGI and all that. We'll see. I mean, I'm still looking forward to it. And plus there is, I guess I don't like how Split connects. It was that one ending scene, and then maybe his dad died in the train wreck or whatever, and that was the thin amount of detail they gave, because the whole rest of the movie had nothing to do with Unbreakable.
I'm gonna call my shot right now.
Mm-hmm.
David's kid inherited some powers.
Yeah,
it's going to show up in this one.
Oh, okay.
As a 23-year-old.
Yeah. So it's been
he'll be like 30 at this point.
Okay, as a 30-year-old.
When was Unbreakable?
99, 2000.
2000. Okay, yeah.
So 18 years after he was in that 12. So yeah, he'd be about 30.
Yeah, he's gonna be about 30 now.
I'm saying that character, that actor.
So maybe that's the twist.
Are going to show up. Well, maybe even David loses. David dies.
Yeah.
Gets defeated. You think it's done, but then you hear
gets thrown in a pool. Yeah. Yeah.
And the music comes in, and then it's Robin Wright. Wait, no, that's not what I said.
Then we have The Kid Who Would Be King, which is retelling of King Arthur, essentially, with modern day children.
It's got some kind of cute
modern
humor.
Day children.
Yeah.
Is it a kids movie?
Yeah,
it is.
Oh
no, I mean it looks like it's having fun with itself, but then you get this terrible CGI. You don't need CGI in your movies.
Mm-hmm. You don't need this CGI.
You don't need this CGI.
I mean, it's the same sort of deal. He pulls the sword out, and he's
imbued with powers.
He's got to defeat evil, and there's like a scene where he's like they're trying to recruit other people at the school to be a part of their army or their Knights of the Round Table or whatever.
Uh-huh.
There's a point where the teacher's he's like, today instead of class, we're doing this. And everybody's like fighting and shit. And I don't know why the teacher's like, let's do this.
All right.
Don't have any idea. Maybe that's one of those.
Set in modern times?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's self-aware, and actually you may have a little bit of interest in this because you like Arthur stuff, but like it's like he pulls a sword out and he tells his friend, it's like a Peter Parker Ned moment where he's like, it's almost like the sword in the stone. Like they're aware of all this stuff. They're standing around a square table and he's like, here, pull out the leaves, and then it becomes a round table and they're like, oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I lost so much of a connection after that teacher said that I thought for some reason like he had somehow found a way into a school for would-be knights or something like that, like an almost a Sky High or something like that. And I had to go back and realize, the teacher's just cool with everybody fighting in the playground and practicing, having tryouts for King Arthur. Then there is, we talked about Serenity and one of the other ones. This is the Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jason Clarke movie.
Still looks good, but
yeah, but now it's a January movie. And it's Matthew McConaughey basically, dialing his true detective up to like 10. And then I went out into the water. That is all of January. Then we go to February, a remake of Jacob's Ladder.
Yep.
The Tim Robbins movie?
Yeah.
What?
Which was about a guy coming back from Vietnam and not knowing what was real and what was dream.
And it's awesome. And it should not be remade.
It was good.
Yeah.
What are we even doing?
This one's got Michael Ealy in it. I don't know if there's a proper movie I can explain Michael Ealy. You've seen Michael Ealy a million times, but he was in one of those, he was in one of the, was it Underworld? It wasn't Underworld.
He was in Barbershop.
He's in Barbershop.
He was in Think Like a Man.
Yeah. Was he in a Resident Evil movie?
He was in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Who are we talking about?
Michael Ealy.
He was in Kissing Jessica Stein.
Do you think there's any hope that the new Jacob's Ladder will rectify the original's mistake and put the 80s pop song Jacob's Ladder on the soundtrack?
You mean the
Step
Huey Lewis?
By step. Oh, wait, that might even be a 90s song. Rung by rung.
That was Huey Lewis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Climbing
but I don't know
Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, I just don't remember if it was 80s or 90s. Sometimes I just refer
Underworld
to
Awakening.
anything that happened before
Underworld Awakening was the one that he was in.
So,
yeah, Michael, if you've seen Kissing Jessica Stein, he's one of the boyfriends of the girl that the main girl gets with. the girl that the main girl gets with is like with 3 guys at the beginning of it. Michael Ealy's one of them. Then there's Cold Pursuit. Liam Neeson plays a guy with the last name of Coxman.
And he plows the road.
He does.
Oh, that's this movie, huh?
This is a revenge movie. His son dies of a drug overdose, and there's like that glib scene where he's like my son was not a drug addict or whatever, and like the doctor's like, that's what they all say. So yeah, his son dies of a drug overdose, and then he goes off and does his Liam Neeson taking shit.
Yep.
To kill everybody involved.
I thought he was done with these. Didn't he say he was done with these?
Yeah, but Anthony Hopkins retired too, so
that's true. Now this does have Emmy Rossum and Laura Dern.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I mean, I'll watch it at some. I'm not going to watch it in the theater.
Hell
But I'll watch
no
it.
plow taken.
yeah.
And
Did you ever see any of the other ones like Unstoppable or like
I saw the one on the
Nonstop
airplane.
or whatever it was?
Yeah,
I
Nonstop.
saw
The Commuter.
No, I saw the one on the airplane. What's that? Nonstop. I saw the one where he's a doctor, and it came out right after Taken.
Yeah, there was what was the? There were a lot of one title.
Unknown.
Unknown, and in the
Unknown.
Gray.
Yeah.
The Gray is great.
Yeah.
I have no beef with the Gray. That's not even a Taken ripoff. He's a little grizzled in that. But this is clearly we're just copy pasting Liam Neeson shit. And, he's Adam Sandler all the way to the bank.
He's named Coxman, and they must say Coxman 5 times in this trailer.
They say it twice.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Well, it's Coxman.
Yeah,
it seems like it's more.
They make a point though to say the name.
Yes.
Now, that being said, Liam Neeson is in The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Oh.
In what might be one of my favorite shorts.
I can't wait to watch that.
Then we have Lego Movie 2.
Yeah.
And it looks funny. It looks like I'll be there. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
There are parts of the trailer that give me a little bit of bad feeling. Because I hate it when they make a surprise movie like Lego Movie, like it's surprisingly good, and then the second one there's like a little self-awareness, extra self-awareness that they add into it. So I hope they don't go too far on that.
Well, and I even today because they put out a new trailer today, and I was just thinking about the title because it's called The Lego Movie, the second part.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm kind of ready for all movies to stop with the fourth wall breaking titles.
Right. Yeah.
Because I just don't think they're funny anymore.
Yeah.
You could have called this Lego Movie 2. No one would have cared. You don't have to make a joke of your title.
And that's why Lego Batman movie was so successful, is that it didn't really refer back to that previous material.
Na Lego.
Yeah.
Yep. But it looks funny. It's got all the same people in it.
Yeah.
And it looks like it has a lot of the same jokes. Only issue for Warner Brothers on this may be that they've watered down their product a lot I liked Lego Batman movie for sure, but then they came out with Lego Ninjago, and now maybe there's some fatigue setting in for this type of thing.
That's the problem too, is that I like Lego Batman a lot. It's not as good as the Lego movie.
Yeah.
And then Lego Ninjago was nowhere near as good as either one of them. And so there may be fatigue.
Yeah. Then there's the Prodigy, which looks like a horrible horror movie. A kid gets hypnotized, and they find out that there's a possessed, he's possessed or something. He's got a demon inside of him.
It's got like a nice little moment in the trailer where it's like he's going through this hypnosis, and then the hypnotist is like, "I want to talk to the being that preceded this boy."
Yeah.
And then he's got a response that's very creepy. But yeah, it's gonna.
I mean, originally the Prodigy was titled "The Possession of
yes,
Shawn Michaels"
or
whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Or the Prodigy, smack my bitch up.
Smack my bitch up.
But yeah, there's a thing now in trailers that they do, and I guess in movies themselves because it's in the trailer. But how many people don't know that when there's a point where the mom says, "Come here," like the son, she asks the son to come here, that the son isn't going to turn into a fucking monster by the time.
Yep. Goes into a shadow.
Goes into a
Sudden,
shadow.
yes.
Yeah. We all know that shit's happening. Then we have What Men Want, which is, gender reversed and racially reversed what women want. is it the same universe or is it just the same idea?
It's the same idea for sure. I wonder if this whole thing is to troll the classically racist Mel Gibson.
It could be. I don't know.
We're going to remake your movie with a woman who's black, asshole.
You think?
No, I don't think.
I actually am thinking he's going to show up in this fucker.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, he's back at this point. He's acting and directing regularly.
I guess so, man. I saw like a documentary on him recently on like Reels, and it's easy to forget how fucking asshole-ish this guy is. And racist, like deeply racist, deeply anti-Semitic, like just a terrible person.
I will never defend the shit that he screamed at his girlfriend or said to the cop. He's clearly got some really vile stuff going on down there. I just feel like the punishments we dole out for people who do that stuff are indiscriminate, completely indiscriminate.
Well, I don't really care what punishment he gets. I just think he's a terrible person. And
and the classic thing was The Hangover 2, right? Where everybody was like, we don't want Mel Gibson in this, but then they were open arms with Mike Tyson coming in.
Yeah, that was my biggest, and from what I understand, it was largely Galifianakis pushing for that. And fair enough. You know, you have the leverage and you want to use it, that's fine. But again, Mike Tyson raped someone.
That's true.
Raped someone, and you made a movie with him, and that was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mel Gibson has never been convicted of rape. We see the same thing in the music world. Chris Brown's still making records, getting nominated for awards.
That's true.
There's physical evidence that he beat the shit out of Rihanna.
Yep.
And, you know, we're going to fire...
And fucking R. Kelly. I mean, I could go through a whole thing with this.
We could. I'm sorry.
But I don't support their music either. I think they should get every bad thing in the world happening to them, too.
I am not trying to tell you to embrace Mel Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying I had gotten the impression that Hollywood had accepted him back. Therefore, wouldn't surprise me if he showed up in this movie.
It would be interesting.
As some kind of a wink.
Yeah.
Or Marissa Tomei even, or Helen Hunt even. If it is same universe, I don't know. Because see, I both hate this movie and love the idea of it all at once. Because the original What Women Want was sexist as hell.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And it should probably have never been made.
Yep.
But because of that, it almost kind of forgives this gender swap reboot a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they're going to do with it.
This one has Taraji P. Henson, who I love watching Taraji P. Henson. She looks awesome in it. And, but I mean, what men want, I'm sorry, it better be like 95% I want to fuck Taraji P. Henson because anything else doesn't make sense to me.
That's the other thing. Well, how truthful are they going to be willing to be?
Yeah, that's true.
Because with What Women Want, do you remember that movie?
Oh, yeah.
I saw it a couple of times. Women in that movie, they wanted a wide variety of things.
Yes.
But I don't think men are quite that diverse.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, and there's a joke in there too that just is like like a guy at a ticket booth or something, and he's like, "You're just walking around in the cloud of my fart right now," or something like that. And I was like, I just don't feel like that's very many people.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a cross section of a lot of people she would run into. You know, and it's not that funny of a joke.
Well, I mean, I think you do have to like give it some variety to make it watchable.
Also, I think it's worth noting, there's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode where she begins hearing everybody's thoughts. That is better than any movie that will be made based on that premise.
That's true.
That's a fantastic episode.
That is.
And then we have Isn't It Romantic, which is a story. Rebel Wilson is in it, and she is much like in that last year's Amy Schumer movie. Is hit over the head. I feel pretty. Hit over the head, and then suddenly the world is completely different to her. She's in a romantic comedy and knows it. It looks like New York they put a pretty filter on New York. It looks like, and like all these hot guys want her and everything. There's a pretty funny scene in the trailer where it's Liam Hemsworth comes in and it's like, "Oh, I loved last night," or whatever. And she's like, "We didn't do anything. We just got into bed, and then the next morning, then we saw each other next morning, and whatever." And so she keeps trying to have sex with him, and like every time she does, he's walking out of the shower saying, "It was a great night last night," and because they're in a PG-13 world.
Yeah.
It looks decent.
It looks a little funnier than I anticipated.
Who's in this?
Rebel Wilson is the
this is
main.
the one that she calls caused a little controversy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe the movie will be
Caused a little
that.
controversy saying she was the first plus-size female to lead a comedy or whatever. Don't say that.
Yep.
Just don't say that.
Well, the biggest problem was that when people corrected her on Twitter, especially black people who were reminding her about Queen Latifah and Monique,
Yeah.
she started blocking them. Some of them were famous.
Oh.
And so it became this, like, so her ultimate apology the next day was half about the comment and half about blocking people on Twitter when they tried to correct her.
Ah.
So she reacted initially in a very poor way as well. I've
Yeah.
never been a huge Rebel Wilson fan.
Me neither.
Yeah, and me either. I
She was
feel like
funny
I
in-
should.
Was it Bridesmaids that she was in? Was she the roommate in Bridesmaids?
Yeah, she was the roommate. Yeah.
I think very small doses of her is funny to me.
And then she got, sort of way more of a following with Pitch Perfect, but those are all the same jokes. They're all, she's fat.
Yep.
And occasionally, I like her delivery. I like how she delivers jokes and everything. It's just that, yeah, I've never been a huge fan of her. But just stop saying I'm the first anything. Do some research first, and actually let some other people say that if it's going to come down to
seriously.
it. Then there is Alita Battle Angel. I have seen the new trailers now, and it does look a lot better.
Sweet.
It looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. It might not be.
Yeah.
No, it looks cool. No, it does. The first trailer I saw looked kind of, I don't know about this, but this new trailer that I saw looks like I was sitting there thinking, this is the exact opposite of Mortal Engines for me.
Right.
The CGI looks good. Of course, James Cameron being a part of it might be a little bit of a help too, but, it actually looks good. It looks like a really good action film.
Yeah.
And everything. And, now I'm excited for it. Robert Rodriguez, I've never been a big fan of.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you go down the line of Robert Rodriguez movies, and there's not a lot of like just great ones. I mean,
I'll go so far as to say there aren't really any great ones. Maybe the El Mariachi.
And-
Mariachi. I like
And only-
Desperado.
Only that because you have to take his budget into account.
but are those great?
That's the thing, man.
And From
From
Dusk
Dusk
Till
Till
Dawn
Dawn
is probably his funnest movie.
Spy Kids.
Spy Kids is love it all you want. That movie is terrible.
Oh, it's not terrible. You think it's terrible?
Well, I think if the whole franchise is terrible, maybe the sequels soiled it for me.
Yeah.
The sequel soiled it for
But
sure.
the CG has never been good in those
No,
movies.
didn't
The
like-
acting has been over the top in those movies from the get-go.
Mm.
Lava Girl and Shark Boy is bullcrap.
Didn't like Sin City, which is the
Didn't
one,
like
which
Sin
is the
City.
movie that this movie's trailer
Yeah, that's funny.
goes to.
Yeah.
Sin City's Robert Rodriguez, a movie that's 13 fucking years old.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What else?
Anyway,
But
I mean, it may.
That said, I do want to see it.
That
Yeah.
Predators movie isn't any good.
Predators?
Yeah, with Adrian Broner or
He
Adrian.
did that one?
That was Robert Rodriguez.
Was it really?
Man, I don't even remember.
Come on now.
I know Once Upon a Time in Mexico. That's another one that's not very good.
Can't be wrong about that.
No,
man.
that was I want it. It's probably not Nimrod, but it's Nimrod Antel who directed Predators.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Wow. Okay.
I mean, I'm sure that there's like something that's close to it. that-
Maybe he was attached to the Shane Black one before Shane Black took it over or something.
That sounds kind of
I
familiar.
feel like he was connected to a Predator movie at one point. I'm sorry, Robert Rodriguez. In the midst of dogging your entire career, I added a movie that I didn't like to your resume that you didn't make.
That's correct. Happy Death Day to you.
Yeah, that's right.
I couldn't find a trailer on YouTube, but I did see a trailer on Halloween for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's the same day, I think,
Huh.
because she keeps waking up and all those sort of same things keep happening. And I can't remember exactly because I haven't seen that trailer in a month.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember exactly what the new wrinkle is.
I don't know. I mean,
It would be weird if it was the same day though. Maybe it's the next day or something like that.
Aha! He produced it.
No, he produced it.
The Nimrod one.
Yeah.
I don't think this needs a sequel.
Well, I liked Happy Death Day,
Mm-hmm.
but This feels like it's getting a sequel because it made money.
Yeah.
Not because even I feel the same way about the Quiet Place sequel that even Krasinski's involved with. I'm just like, somebody saw money signs and convinced you, and that's great. Maybe you have a story to tell, but we're still starting with money signs.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same reason Groundhog Day doesn't have a sequel.
Yeah.
You don't need
I'd
to go
rather
back
see
to
It Follows 2 before Happy Death Day 2.
And they're going to, because it made money, they're going to keep this one PG-13, I bet.
Yep.
And then it's going to limit how far they can go, and it'll be the same problems as I had with the first movie. I'll probably end up watching it just because who's the girl in that?
Jessica Roth.
She's delightful.
Yeah, she is.
But I don't think this is necessary.
I'm watching that trailer. I was kind of excited about it though.
I haven't seen the trailer, and I think I saw Jonathan or somebody from Modern Horrors was raving about the trailer. It may be
okay.
It wasn't one of those where I was like, I mean, some of it was like, yeah, oh my god, here we go again type stuff, but a lot of it was like, I kind of want to see this. Then here is now this may be the movie that really is talking about what you're talking about with their trying other months with movies. How to Train Your Dragon's third movie, which is called The Hidden World, is coming out in February.
Didn't they come out? Haven't they been sitting on this a while too? Hasn't it been a while?
I don't know.
It feels like the other two came out closer together.
I didn't even know they were making a third one.
Dragon gets a girlfriend.
Dragon gets a girlfriend. Yeah. It's Wally for dragons.
How to Train Your Eva.
Yes. That's what it looks like. And maybe they just realize it's not very good. I don't know, but a February 22nd release date for How to Train Your Dragon doesn't make sense to me.
Not especially when it's only a couple weeks after Lego Movie 2.
Yes.
You're not like, if there was no other big family animated movie that month, then maybe. But.
Yeah. I haven't looked into March to see what they would be avoiding, because I know Captain Marvel comes out in March, but I don't think they would be necessarily avoiding that movie.
You wouldn't think.
And if they were, they would come out with it like they've always have, like March 13th, March 20th, somewhere around there.
Do you like these first two movies?
Yes.
I like the first
They're
one.
beautiful,
I
aren't
don't
they?
remember the second one. They're gorgeous, and the music is great. The score is great. I've watched the first one several times. I think I've only seen the second one once.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them had supervision from Roger Deakins on the look of the that's why they look
such a great idea.
But that's an interesting February release. I was kind of surprised to see that. Two more that don't have trailers. Rhythm Section, have no idea what that's about.
It'll be about a drummer,
and
that's got Blake Lively and Jude Law.
Jude Law.
I like me some Blake Lively, man.
Yeah.
Between Simple Favor and The Shallows, like, she's been doing some good stuff.
Quietly kind of been doing a good stuff.
She had a couple of years off to have a couple of kids, and now she's being all cheeky on social media with Ryan Reynolds and all that stuff. Like, she's having a good
she's
run.
having fun.
Yeah.
The Turning, which is another turn. You have another Turning, by the way. That's on the Rose Byrne movie. Is not this Turning.
Oh, okay.
There's a Turning that came out in 2013 that starred Rose Byrne.
Oh.
This Turning is something else, and I couldn't find a goddamn thing about it.
It's also my college band name for 2 months was Turning.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
nice. It's another innocuously named.
You started
bullshit.
with tuning, and then it was like, let's make it Turning.
Yeah,
add an R.
Yeah, exactly. Drop the the. But that'll do it for the preview.
That's right.
Preview pod.
We went through we ran the gamut there. We didn't have trailers for about 4 of these movies, but
so we're
some
excited
exciting
for
things.
Yeah, we're excited for Mary Queen of Scots, The Favorite, Spider-Man,
The Mule. Then it's like Welcome to Marwen,
Escape Room, kind of
Vice,
Glass. So we got some good stuff.
Lego Movie 2, and I do want to see Alita Battle Angel and Happy Death Day to You. So yeah, there's a good
Cold Pursuit.
Yeah, there's a good 10 movies probably in that group. And on top of the other 10 movies that I need to see that have just come out in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's a lot. We're getting into that season for awards contention where I'm starting out behind. Yeah, and it's only going to get worse because now Green Book is out and getting good reviews.
Yes.
And I'm just,
it's like, God damn it. Yeah. Can't they just come out with some of these movies in September when nobody's doing anything?
It'd be easier for me.
Yeah. That'll do it for this week. Keep going to SinCast presented by Cinemasins on Facebook. Keep going to SoundCloud, Cinemasins Twitter. Give us some comments about this episode, what you're excited about on this preview.
Hey, Chris.
Yes, Barrett.
Do you want more SinCast content?
I know I would if I were fans of us.
Yeah, right. All you got to do is go to our Patreon page. Oh. We got a whole bonus episode just for patrons.
Yeah.
For people who are members, who are our partners, who are our lovers.
And let me tell you, on that bonus episode for Patreon members only, I say some ignorant shit about 2001.
I think there's going to be some people who are on board with you on that.
Maybe.
I think there will be. But it's about a 20 to 30 minute pod where we answer one question.
Yeah, that's right, man. Take a deep dive. It's a lot of fun, and there are other perks that you can get as being a patron and a member of our Patreon. There's things where you can, in fact, later on this week, we're having a live chat from the studio. There's ways that you can help control our content. You can select mini pods and things like that. You can have early access to all of our content.
Well, and also, I know it's holiday season, so you may be buying gifts, cash may be tight, end of the year stuff. If you want to be a member at the Patreon, but can't right now, just know that if you can down the road, you'll still get back access. You'll be grandfathered into all the stuff like the bonus mini pod episodes, the live video broadcasts. You still get access to all of that. So hang in there, and we'll still be here whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Access.
That'll do it for this episode. It's Chris Atkins and Jeremy Scott and Barrett Scher. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. Comment on our episodes on our SoundCloud page. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit. And be sure to visit cinemasins.com.
Hey, Chris, do you want one
thing my college girlfriend never gave me was access.
Yes.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you know do you want more SinCast content? Fuck that up. Damn it.
Those are the type of the games that just, all right, you got me. Because I always end up wanting to explore every fucking thing.
Yeah.
And even Breath of the Wild was like that when I got it, and it was, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, you can do a lot of things. You can do all the stuff out of order and everything, but it's pretty straightforward what you got to do, and you don't even have to do half the things in there to beat it. But still, I was like, I want to find every one of these things, and I want to find all these things, and by the time I fought the last guy, my level was so up, I mean, it wasn't like the easiest battle in the world, but I mean, I got it done within one or two tries.
You ever play any of the Just Cause games?
Mm-mm.
Those are pretty similar too. Like, they're more island jungle environment based, but it reminded me very much of an action heavy Grand Theft Auto kind of feel, only a little more cartoony in terms of the action. So, like, I think I spent probably 8 hours going to the top of the mountain trying to steal this plane that if you successfully take off, the runway just ends at the edge of the mountain. But they're shooting at you from the moment you get in the plane. It's like, really, they don't want you to take it. Anyway, that was a fun-ass game. Anyway, open-world games are my jam.
Yeah.
And apparently swinging around New York City as Spider-Man in this new game is exhilarating.
Dude, Spider-Man 2 for the, I guess it was PlayStation 2 is when I had it, was fucking dope.
I agree. And if they've recreated that and even a little bit,
they have a little...
But yeah, so I once I get done with Dark Souls, and who knows when the fuck that'll be, I'll start on Red Dead Redemption, and that'll be another fucking thing. Because it was funny, the last 2 South Park episodes had this Red Dead Redemption thread going through it.
Oh, yeah?
So, like, the first episode of this 2-part series, which was about the South Park creators essentially saying we were wrong about global warming.
Oh, wow.
Because there was an episode way back in the day where they call it was Al Gore was like Man Bear Pig, and Man Bear Pig was climate change,
Right.
And so like they made fun of him, but for coming up with this big huge thing that doesn't exist. And they even did that too in another one that was a Day After Tomorrow takeoff. They've always been global warming deniers.
Is that the We Didn't Listen one?
Yes. We didn't listen. We didn't listen.
Rolls down the window.
Yeah. Somebody's in the background. We didn't listen. And he's, we didn't listen. And like global warming comes after somebody on the street. They're like running like and all that. And yeah, they this Man Bear Pig is back in this next episode, in this last couple of weeks ago episode, and so like the kids go to find Al Gore. And they're like, we were wrong about climate, not climate change, but we were wrong about Man Bear Pig. He's here now. What are we going to do about it? And it's like, you guys didn't listen to me the first time. Yeah. In the second episode, he comes back and finds out that his wife is like really deep into the game. He's like, what did I tell you about just 10? And he's like, this is my own save game and I've done my own thing. And then she goes through all this shit and I'm like, holy shit, that game has got to be massive. Like, he's like, you did this and this and this and this and this. I did this and 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 went through a whole bunch of stuff.
Jesus.
I was like, damn.
There's like 50 different species of fish you can catch.
Yeah.
I read an entire article about all the fucking fish you can catch in Red Dead Redemption 2, and after you catch all the main ones that are real fish, there are super fish.
Oh, yeah.
That are like, you have to like mission quest to go find the super fish, but you can't even get that quest if you haven't caught the 45 pike, bluegill, trout, whatever, the bass, whatever the fuck.
Wow.
Anyway,
God.
The game is deep as fuck, and I probably will spend most of my time fishing.
Mm-hmm. There's a thing
in a video game to go fishing.
That was the thing in Breath of the Wild. You had to go and find your own food essentially so that you could heal. And and there were all these like dishes that you could make. Like there were like actual dishes that in the game they told you how to do them. Like if you had these ingredients, you just go to your little pot and you'd start like you go to your little pot and put all the ingredients in the pot, and it would be like him like sitting there stirring.
Did you play the original Red Dead Redemption?
No, I didn't.
I played the shit out of that game, and it's even that was detailed as hell, and that was like 8-10 years ago. But that was like there were all these different herbs and flowers you could go pick for various. Some were healing, and some you could trade, and then you could like fucking kill deer and skin them, and then go into town and sell the pelts or trade them.
Wow!
But in like the new one, it's everything down to like. I also read another article about there's like dozens of different horse varieties and personalities, and like. If you interact kindly with your horse more often, like give it compliments or apples or say kind things, like you can bond more with your horse, which might come in handy in a chase down the line. If you need a little extra oomph out of your horse or whatever, he loves you, so he gives it to you.
Oh, wow.
Whereas if you just treat your horse like a utility, you won't bond together. I just think it's fascinating how many different ways you could go about playing this game, even if you don't ever accept a mission. Just like, because you have to eat or you'll get skinny.
Oh, wow.
And you have to eat the right kinds of food or you won't be like, or you'll get fat. It's fascinating to me how deep they made that shit.
Yeah, that is crazy.
But yeah, I have read that it's hours and hours of intro content before you can actually open world explore.
Yeah.
And that would be maddening.
That was the thing, because I haven't even had it. I haven't played a PlayStation since probably at your house.
Oh, yeah.
And like I'm not familiar with the controller. The controller's somewhat the same as any like the Nintendo one is, but like getting the PlayStation set up first, and then like putting the disc in, and like the PlayStation has got this. I mean, it's not weird to everybody who's got PlayStations, obviously, but it was weird to me because I couldn't find where you put the fucking disc in.
Oh yeah,
it's like it's this like level like Guggenheim Museum of them, and you put the. I was like, oh,
is it just like an insert thing, or is there a drawer?
There's a little tiny thing that shows you the buttons on the like. I mean, you would never think they'd have anything written on these like levels that are on here.
Well, and there's not like a tray that comes out.
No, you
it's
just
like it looks like this. Only one of them accepts a disc.
Oh, yeah. And so I popped that in, and it was like, all right, now I gotta go through all this shit. And then finally, it was like, here's the story. I'm like, all right, here's the story. And like, as soon as they tell me the story, then I'm just gonna be on my way. And nope, went through a whole bunch of shit, and then finally it got to a point where you just see your character from his perspective, and he's just sitting there. And I was like, damn, it's like 1 o'clock now. I need to turn this off. Was a game called Shenmue, that was on the Sega CD, I think.
Sega CD lasted a long time.
Yeah, it did. I unfortunately was a victim of the Sega CD.
Yeah, Grand Theft for me is almost always, can I do X? Can I do Y? Like Grand Theft Auto 5 was, okay, I'm going to go to the airport and see if they have any planes taking off and landing. And they did.
Really?
And then I saw a big fucking 747 sitting at the end of the runway, not moving. And I was like, I wonder if I can get in that and fly it and take off. And I could.
Are you serious?
And then it became like, well, they started shooting at me pretty quickly. But then it became like, all right, can I take off and then get out and stand on the wing? Or can I just stand on another one that's taking off and stand on the wing and fire a bazooka while I'm out there? Like, just all sorts of like, can I do X, Y, or Z? A lot of it involves motorcycle jumps. Like, what's the fucking craziest motorcycle jump I can come up with?
Hell yeah.
Anyway, off the rails before we even start.
Yes.
Video games are fun.